Quite. Okay. See, first of all, aptitude. So this basically tests three things. First is your basic mathematical ability. Then your reading and comprehending ability. How well can you read a text and comprehend? And the last part is logical reasoning. How well can you reason? These are the three parts to it. Mostly, whatever kind of aptitude test you are giving in any exam consists of these three parts. Okay, but the difference here is usually in most exams it is written as no, instead of reading comprehension and comprehension ability, it is written as English. This is your typical any aptitude exam. Correct? This is your typical SSC or bank exams. Yeah. Can you be quiet? Because I have been teaching in much bigger classes and they are able to hear. Okay. Just quiet a bit, you'll hear. Okay. Then mathematics, English, and reasoning. Okay. Three parts to it. This is common in almost all exams. Now, what is different in UPSC is mainly this part. This part, instead of asking English, that is basic grammar or correcting of sentences or synonym antonyms, what they really ask is only and only RCs, that is reading comprehension. Okay. And in reading comprehension also, instead of asking questions directly from a reading comprehension, which is directly mentioned in these passages, what they ask is your understanding of that whole passage. Okay, they would ask you the crux of the passage. They would ask you the main idea of the passage. So after reading the whole passage, what you really get out of it, that is asked. Why it is important for civil services? Because see, almost every workplace has a work order. Okay, like for us also, before the start of every week, we get a timetable of what all we would be doing this week. That is all the recordings or all the classes that we'll be taking in which classroom, what batches, everything is written in that. That is followed to the T in almost every organization. But the issue with civil services is suddenly some law may be passed in state legislature or the parliament, and what they write in it, that at district level the district magistrate would be looking into it, right? They have done this for many laws and many agencies or organizations. They are head of many organizations. Now their work order cannot be defined like work order is defined for us, because we have limited scope of work. So suddenly you would know that now from from the next day you will be hearing cases on the new Land Acquisition Act. So new policy government has framed, and now you would be dealing with cases of it the next day. So now you don't have the luxury of time always with you. You are now, earlier it used to come by mail, so it still gave you some time. Now how it works, it comes as a PDF. So now you open that PDF, you read it that the night before, and the next day you have to judge cases on this. Understood? So that's why your comprehending ability should be very good. Instead of reading whole 700 pages of that document, you should be able to filter out what's important in it, mark them, understand, okay, this works like this works like that, and within a few hours you should be done with that document and should be able to deliver the next day. Okay, like anybody comes to me and say that, sir, today you will also be taking polity lecture after this, I'll say, I'm not prepared. I don't teach polity. How will I take this, that I'll do? Okay. But in civil services, you won't have that opportunity or scope. That's why you need to have this kind of comprehending ability in which you read a whole passage very fast within a minute. You are able to read the passage, you get the most important part of it, then you choose the right option out of the four similar options that are given. This is what is required instead of asking the synonym, antonym kind of questions that are asked in other exams. Okay. Reasoning is very similar to other exams. Okay. The mathematics part of it used to be very similar. Nowadays, what they have done, they have started giving almost even more than half paper sometimes from number system. And in 1 year, what they did, they filled the other half with permutation and combination. That year was 2023. And in 2023, as you would know, of the 6 lakh people that appeared in prelims that year, hardly 1 lakh could clear it. Okay. So only 1/5 or 1/6 of all the people who appeared in this exam were able to clear CSAT in this year. Why? Because the part of number system people are not very comfortable with, and the other part that people are able to do, there was permutation and combination, which again people tend to leave because these two topics are not that important in other exams like SSC, banks and all. This is important for CSAT nowadays. So this is the difference. Reasoning is similar. Number system, sometimes they give a bit too much weightage, sometimes they don't, but we'll prepare it well. PNC, 1 year they gave so many questions. From last 2 years, there are no questions. So they keep changing this pattern, but reasoning part you would always be able to do. RC, though it is different, once you get a hang of it, you will be able to do very well in it. Understood all the three parts? Now, weightage of these three parts. Maths, reasoning, and reading comprehension. Whoever comes late has to come with their own chair. Okay. Okay. Math, reasoning, and reading comprehension. See, so from reading comprehension, you will have 27 to 29 questions. Okay. You know this much that CSAT has 80 questions. Okay. Of 2.5 marks each. And this would amount to 18 to 2.5, that is 200. Now, out of these 80 questions, 27 to 29 would come from reading comprehension. Okay. Now, reasoning would consist of 14 to 15 questions. Okay. And the remaining part, that is, let's say approx 37 questions would come from math. Okay. This is how the weightage of these parts is. Okay. Of course, it fluctuates 1 or 2 here and there, but more or less, this is the weightage that is given to different parts. Okay. Now, see, I will, in this first class itself, I will tell you how you should attempt a CSAT paper. Okay, because I would tell it at the end of the classes that how this is how you should attempt a CSAT paper. But I've seen students start giving mocks from the get-go. Okay, some students start giving mocks from the get-go, and so that they don't develop any kind of bad habits of attempting paper, I'll tackle it right here only. Okay, see, if you see 2024 and 2025 paper, okay, what you will find is they have a kind of pattern. Okay, so there are different strategies that are told by everybody, and you might have heard about it, that first there is iteration 1 in which you do easy questions, then you have iteration 2 in which you do moderate question, and then in iteration 3 you do the difficult question. Correct? Must have heard about this. This also is used in GS a lot. Okay, in GS, what you do? You do easy questions first, then moderate, then difficult. Some people follow this pattern. Now, the issue with this strategy in CSAT is it is extremely difficult to bucket questions just by looking at them. Okay, see, if I am doing a GS paper and I have not done medieval history well. Now, if a question comes about which of the following statements are true about Alauddin Khilji, and then there are 2-3 statements written. I have not done medieval history well. I don't know Alauddin Khilji that well. So I can easily consider this that I won't be getting it in first iteration, second iteration. I will just leave it. Just by reading these two words of Alauddin Khilji, we could guess that we won't be able to do this. Okay, similarly happens in almost every subject. Science and tech question, you see some different term is given that you have never heard of, you just leave it. In fact, if you are doing a GS paper, these are two sides to it. What you can almost do is you can go through it the whole. You won't be able to do this. Okay, similarly happens in almost every subject. Science and tech question, you see some different term is given that you have never heard of, you just leave it. In fact, if you are doing a GS paper, these are two sides to it. What you can almost do is you can go through it the whole 2 pages within a few seconds. You can see, okay, this I can do, this. You can leave many questions right when you see them. This does not happen in CSAT always, especially with mathematics and reasoning questions. Also, sometimes in RC, also you see a very small RC. Okay, very small sized RC. So you feel happy about it and you immediately pick it. And then after reading that small RC, you see the options, those 4 options, they are so close that you are not even sure about cancelling out 2 options. You are stuck with 3. Okay, any of these 3 seem equal probable to you. So now this question has become difficult. You have read the whole passage, you got not much out of it, you have just wasted time. Okay, so also some people in 2023, what they did, they had this habit of bucketing like this. So they started attempting the paper. Now in retrospect, you know, it was a very difficult paper, but that time nobody knew. Okay, so they started attempting the paper, and what they kept doing is they would read a question and say, okay, this is not easy, I will do it later. This is not easy, I'll do it later. This is not easy, I'll do it later. They read all the questions, rejected them, that this will be done in second iteration or third iteration. What's so interesting in seeing a person fix a chair? They fix their chairs, they'll sit. You concentrate here. You are looking at how they're setting up their chair. This is like school students who start looking out of the window and some normal life is going on, some farmer they're seeing, Okay, concentrate here. So in 2023, what happened? They kept bucketing it. They kept bucketing it. Okay, okay. Oh, let me try this. Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, this is a moderate one. I'll do it later. This is also a moderate one. I'll do it later. After 1 hour, this is the actual situation that happened with so many people. Okay. After 1 hour, they realized they had done 12 to 15 questions only. And everything other than that felt moderate or difficult to them. Now, what they were left with, 10 minutes is obviously for bubbling. They were left with 50 minutes only, and now they have to attempt around 35 questions. Now, doing 35 questions in the last 50 minutes when you are already panicking was very, very difficult. And this is how people failed in CSAT. Okay. It is not that they were not so many students, 5 lakh students were not able to solve questions worth 2/3 of marks. This is not the case. Okay. Most people work hard for this exam. Still so many failed because something like this they experienced in exam. Okay. So that's why this strategy of bucketing all the time is not good. Another issue that you face with this, when you are bucketing each and every question by reading it, what it does is this happens in GS paper also sometimes. What happens when you have to leave like 5, 6, 7 questions in a sequence? Suddenly on 8th question, you don't have that level of confidence. Your confidence starts losing. This also I can't do, this also, this also, this. You turn 2 pages and then you start panicking. Okay, so it affects your confidence also. And one major thing that if you ask people who were unfortunately not able to clear CSAT, they would tell you, sir, in that one question or two question of math or reasoning, it looked like it came directly from my notes. It looked like something that I would be able to do easily, and I got stuck in it and spent more than 5 minutes in it. It seems a lot, but if you start doing something, and especially for mathematics, if you start doing something and you think this was from my notes only, and then you get to some answer, and then you realize, oh, I missed that case. Let me do that case, and you keep on doing this. You end up spending more than 5 minutes in that one question, and now panic triggers in. So this happens with a lot of students. This is something that we should avoid. Okay. Now I'll tell you the strategy that I feel should be followed in solving CSAT paper. See, if you see the CSAT paper of 2024 or 5, you would see it can be easily divided into 4 parts. This is how they have framed the paper. Okay. Now, one thing that students usually do in CSAT, if they are good at RC, they do RCs first. So if there is a whole page of mathematics question, they would leave it. If there is some mathematics question, they'll leave it. Then they will keep leaving it. They will only do RCs. Some people do even the opposite part of it, which is doing only math and reasoning. Now in that, they have to turn many pages when passages starts coming. So they turn 2, 3 pages, and then they'll get some question of mathematics. They'll solve this. All this they do. Instead, if you see how they have framed this paper is, in every 20 questions, they have put a combination of all 3 parts. This is what I have observed. Okay. See, so in question number 1 to 20, reading comprehension, first they give, there was one RC, and each RC had 2 questions. This was at the start of the paper. Then around 10, 11 question, 10th or 11th question, they gave 2 more RCs. And again, they had 2 questions each. So in all, there were 8 questions of RC. Okay. Then let me tell you the exact figures. From math, there were 8 questions. And from reasoning, they had 3 questions. Okay. Similarly, if you see here again, RC, same way, they had 4 RCs and 8 questions, 2 from each. Then in math, they had 8 questions, and in reasoning, they had 8, 4, 8, 6. No, this is 4 only. This is 4. So 4 questions of reasoning, exactly the same. 4 questions here. Similarly, the pattern was for this. This had a bit of different pattern. There were again 4 RCs, but these 2 RCs had only 1 question. Okay, these 3 RCs and this one had 2 questions. So in all, there were 5 questions from RC. Again, reasoning was the same weightage, that is 4 questions, and the remaining part was mathematics with around 11 questions. This is what the pattern was usually like from past 2 years. If you observe, every section has, let's say these 3 sections, they are very similar. 8 questions of RC, then 4 questions of reasoning, 8 questions of mathematics. Okay. So what we should be doing instead is we pick each part and we would give 27, okay, wait, 27 minutes to each part. 27 minutes. You can give even 30 minutes if you want, but 27 minutes we'll give to each part. And in those 27 minutes, we will stick with these 20 questions. Okay. First, in these 27 minutes also, what we will do, because if you attend these classes, you will eventually become good at RCs. This has happened with all my class students. You will become good at RCs, and RCs are much more reliable than mathematics in this CSAT paper. So in the first 10-11 minutes, I want you to be done with all these 8 questions of RC. If you don't want to attempt 1 or 2 questions, that's fine. But you should be, whatever RC you want to do in this section, this should be done in 10 or 11 minutes. The next 15 to 17 minutes that you have, this is for your math and reasoning. And in this, you have 8 questions and 4 questions. So you have 12 questions. All you want to do is 5 questions out of these 12 questions. You need to find 5 easy ones. The task is not to eliminate any question or we will do it later, this, that, nothing. You have 12 questions. You are not minding that I am doing this question or leaving this question. Should I leave this question? Nothing. You are just finding 5 easy questions that you think you can do. These 5 questions you get done with. You have done enough for this section. Now, if you have enough time left, if you do mocks like this, eventually you will start finishing them in easily in 25 minutes. Then you will have those 2-3 minutes extra. What you do, you still stick to this part and try to solve 1 or 2 more questions of mathematics and reasoning that you can. The good thing about this is, if you are lacking after 27 minutes, you will not be in this section. Whatever happens, this section has to be left with bad memories or good memories. This section should be left. You should be on the next section at the 28th minute. Why it is important? Because once you leave this section, you after only 27 minutes or half an hour, you know if you are lacking time in this exam or not. Those students, after 1 hour, they realize that they had done only 15 questions. I don't want you to be in same situation. Within first 30 minutes, you know I am lacking by 2-3 questions. So what students, because everybody is serious here about their preparation, in their next section, they do it very fast and they eventually cover here. And you have 3 other sections to cover. Eventually, if you do these earlier, you have 2-3 minutes again to come back to this section. Anyway, in 27 minutes, if you count it 4 times, it will come out to be 108 minutes. I have also left the last 12 minutes for your bubbling. Okay, that must have a separate time. Now, some students also like to bubble with each section. That's also fine. So what you can do, 27 minutes is for doing this. Next 3 minutes, what you do, you bubble this part. Okay, and then you move to next section. Understood? Both of these are equally good, whatever you are comfortable with. But please stick to this, that after 27 minutes, I leave this section, I go to next section. And in those 27 minutes, if you happen to save time, you can come back and see more questions if you can do them. Understood? Eventually, you will see that by the end of this paper, doing it this way, you would have attempted more than 50 questions. Correct? Let's say 8 plus 5, 13. In some, if you leave 1-2 questions of RC, that's also fine. 13 fours are 52. So around 50 questions you would be able to do. This is a good figure to target. If you do 50 questions with even moderate accuracy, you would clear CSAT. Understood this? Anybody any issue? Nothing? Fine. So this is how you will attempt CSAT. Here only 5 questions are there, so you get done with this within 6 or 7 minutes. Also, you will feel later on that after doing the first section, your speed will keep on increasing, and by the end, because everybody has better speed, so attempt this section at the end only, and then you would be able to solve some mathematics question. Also, here the number of question of mathematics has been seen to be more, but if you have done these sections adequately, you already have that confidence to attempt this as well. Okay, even in this section, if you lack a bit, other parts would cover it, because we have taken a huge buffer. We are attempting 50 questions and you will be good to go. Understood? Done? Please write it, whoever wants to. In every section, you will find that they would deliberately put 4-5 easy questions in between. Okay, and that you will be able to do. Okay. Remove it. I think. Okay. So a one line gist of this strategy is I want you to attempt almost all RCs and easy questions of math and reasoning. This is a strategy that works for most people. Now, some of you may be from a very strong mathematical background. Even for them, I'll say that attempt RCs. If you are from a very strong mathematical background, you have 15-16 minutes. Okay. You can still do, if you are really strong at it, you can still do 10 to 12 questions. No problem. Okay. But attempt RCs, because once you get a hang of it, those are much more reliable. Okay. Now, what are the kind of marks that we should be targeting from each section? Of course, it will differ person to person, but what we are usually safe with is, if let's say from reading comprehension, if you do reasonably well in it, you can get 40 marks very easily from this. Okay. Even on your worst day, you should be able to get 40 marks out of it. We will prepare it in this way that you reach at least this thing. On your good day, or when an easy paper appears in front of you, of course, you can get to 50 or more than 50 marks. But you would see a lot of videos or strategies here and there, which will tell you that I scored all the marks from this reading comprehension, more than 55 marks from reading comprehension. Please don't rely on them, because reading comprehension always will have an element of subjectivity. This will always exist in reading comprehension. That is why some people what they have done is, see, every institute releases their answer key just after prelims. Okay, what they do, some people, they save these answer keys, and when after 1 year UPSC's real answer key comes, what they do, they start scoring institutes, right, how much they are getting. Now if you see in CSAT, especially in RC, most questions were correct for institutes as well as UPSC. Like they were common, the answers were common for both of them. But in many questions, what was the answer given by institutes didn't match with UPSC answer key. Now, one thing you can do is, of course, start saying bad thing about institutes, that these teachers also don't know anything. Whatever they do anything, they give any answer, and that's why they get it all wrong. But what happens in some questions, you need to understand that if there is a simple paragraph also written, how I read and interpret it would be different from how you read or and interpret it. Similarly, how UPSC interprets it would also be different from how I interpret it. Now, when the options are far or the RC is not that integrate, we will align. Okay. But in some cases, when the options are too close or the passage is talking something very integrate, then what will happen? There would be difference in our interpretation. That's why what happens? Students, when they count their marks from coaching institute answer keys, they would be getting like marks in 70s. and eventually they realize that they didn't clear CSAT. This difference from coaching answer keys and UPSC answer keys is almost not relevant in mathematics and reasoning. It's almost exactly the same. The main issue comes from RCs only. That is why relying overtly on RCs is not a good strategy. What you should aim is getting 40 marks out of RCs that you can get even on your bad day. And if you count from coaching answer keys, you will get marks around this only, 40 marks from RCs. The remaining 40 marks that you can get from mathematics and reasoning. You may make it 50 also. I'm telling you the bare minimum marks that you must get from this part also. Okay. So here if you, let's say there were 24 questions that you attempted out of 27, 28 questions, and you got 18 correct and 6 incorrect. Okay. Yeah. So 18 correct and 6 incorrect, 6 incorrect, 1/3 minus marking in each. So you can effectively subtract 2 from this. This is effectively 16 correct. You get this? 1/3 marks is subtracted for each wrong answer. So 1/3 into how many you got wrong? 6. So minus 1/3 into 6 into how much marks is given for each? Give that. Just this much. So you can eventually subtract -2 from the number of questions you effectively got correct. Because you lost the marks that you gained from these two questions because you got 6 wrong. So 16 effectively you got correct. 16 correct is what? How many marks? 30 marks? 2.5 marks each. 16 into 2.5. 40 marks. Okay. Now this is pretty easy. Out of the 27, 28 questions that would come in exam, you have to attempt around 24, 25 questions to get, even if you get 6 wrong in this, you can reach 40 marks. For the other part of math and reasoning, here the accuracy is much more. So even if you attempt something like again 24 questions, let's say even in reasoning you got 6 wrong, or let's say in all of this you got 6 wrong again you will reach the same marks. 6 wrong, 18 correct, again 40 marks you can get. Though in this accuracy is much more, so even if you get 21, 22 attempts, that also is fine, math and reasoning. Now if you subtract 28 from 80, you will get to 52 questions are from math and reasoning. In this, I am asking you to attempt, let's say, approx only 22 questions. This is not much. This is easily doable. This much you should be able to do. That is what I want from you. Just doing 20, 22 questions from those 52 questions. And how we will do it, that we discussed, only picking up the easy questions. Okay, so don't be too worried about mathematics and reasoning portion having 52 questions. That is more than 2/3 part is of this only. Don't be too concerned about it. Okay, you have to do only some questions of it. Understood? Okay, done? Now, I'll tell you about how these classes would work. Okay, see, you will have your lectures. in this, I want you to make class notes. Slides would only have questions in them. I have not written anything in slides that will be provided to you. Okay. There is not much theory that needs to be provided anyway. Whatever theory or whatever is there, I'll write on board or I'll dictate. That you note down in your copy only. Okay. Questions would appear on your screen from PDFs. That question also you can leave space if you are first, what you do, you leave space. When you see question on the board, you leave space and you start solving the question. Okay, start solving the question. Hopefully you get to the answer and then you have time, then you can write the question. If you don't get to the answer, if you are just trying and then I start explaining you, that also is fine. You just write whatever the correct solution is. This question you can always write later from the PDFs. What I've seen students do is, when I give a question and I usually go around the class, there's not much space here, but I usually go around the class. What they keep doing, even after telling them obtain number of times, what they keep doing, they just keep writing the question. Slowly, slowly in cursive writing, they'll write the question and wait so that the time passes and I start explaining the solutions. Okay, this is not a good strategy for themselves. I tried to make them do solutions first, but even then some people were not doing it, so it's on them. Okay, solutions, of course, first you should be trying on your own. Like I said in science and tech lecture also, here your copy must not look good. Okay, in that I wrote need not be very beautiful. In this I say it must not look good. Anybody's copy in CSAT, if it is looking too good, that means they were a passive learner in class. Okay, because if you are attempting the questions right then and there, please don't, some people have their habit, what they do, they write question beautifully and then they turn the pages. On the last page they keep scribbling something all the time. Last 3-4 pages is what all solving they have done in the entire course. Don't do this. Just write here, just attempt here only. Get it wrong, cross it. Okay, and don't cross it like this. I don't want to see this ever in my life. Okay, you should remember what you did wrong. Okay, that's the whole point of doing things wrong in class. So cut it just like a simple cut. Also, even in UPSC mock copies, if you see, some people cut like this. This is not how you cut any page. At least when you are giving a formal exam, what you have to do is you cut like, make a simple cut and write cancelled. That is how you cut pages in UPSC mains copy. Okay, some people just cut because sometimes what happens, like I had maths optional, so what happens, you do a question wrong, okay, and now you are very angry about it because you have lost space. Also in mathematics, space is very important because you get limited space, and let's say this question requires so many steps and you have to do it within 2 pages, so now you have lost this much space, so you have a lot of anger in you, so people cut like this. Okay, because now they have to somehow manage in this much space. Don't do all this. In your copy also, just make a small cut and then write the solution, whatever I am telling you. Understood? Please try to attempt in class. Your copy shouldn't be very beautiful. Okay. 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 One more thing, that I will be telling you some important thing in some question of how you observe a question and get to the solution. My attempt is not just to tell you the correct solution, but also tell you how you could have thought about that question. Understood? Now that cannot be dictated to you in notes form. That how you see a question and think of a solution. That I will tell you in class. What you must do if you have not thought like that, if you have thought in any other way or were not able to think or do anything about that question, please write it somewhere. Please write it on the top, here, there. Some students do a very good thing. I have seen some students of mine, uh, like one of my student, she would write with a red note in Hindi. Okay, whichever question she wasn't able to do, she would write in her own language that this word there, and I would generally tell, like, from this you could have understood that this formula should have been applied. So she would write this cues, and everything she'll write here itself. This is very important. It comes in handy when you are seeing this copy after a while. Okay, like we'll cover CSAT now. Now, ideally, you should be practicing throughout your, uh, when is the exam? 20th May. Throughout till 24th May, you should be doing this exercise. But most people won't. So after the CSAT course is over, they will take a leave from it for a few months. Now, after a few months, when you come back, you will not be seeing all those things that were taught in class, or you were told how to get to the solution of those. In that case, doing something like this helps. Understood? So please write in whatever language you can, just write it, whatever you understood, and if you didn't get that question correct. Okay. Then okay. Apart from class notes, for almost all chapters, except for some not so important ones, you would get sheets. Okay. You will get assignment sheets. Okay. Assignment sheets you have to do at your home for your practice. Okay. Now, the level of assignment sheets, I have not kept it very low. Okay, so you won't find questions like find the HCF of and then 10 HCF questions. If you are lacking in that, you can meet me personally and I'll tell you a few sources or a few questions for that. But I have not added them in assignments itself. So there are some basic questions like finding HCF. So there are 10 questions of finding HCF, then finding LCM, then finding HCF and LCM, then finding the numbers whose HCF LCM is given. Okay, so all that won't be there in the assignments. Assignments would have questions, something of which can come in UPSC. Okay, or just above or below it. Okay, like if this is the UPSC level, some would be below it, some would be above it, most would lie in this zone only. Okay, so these assignments you have to do at your home. Okay, now once we are done with the course, then you may attend mocks. Doing this is also very important for your time management. Follow that strategy only and do mocks after the completion of this course. These are the three main pillars of CSAT. First is your classes, second is your assignments, and third is your mocks. If you do all this, you would definitely clear CSAT. That's it. These are the three things that you should be doing and you will be done with it. Okay. And keep doing this for the entire course. At the start, people do everything. Okay. They are done with their assignments. They will come to you and tell, sir, we want more assignments because I want more practice. Okay. First, it starts with that. Okay. After doing all the questions, class notes, everything they would do. But eventually what they start doing is, at last, they are like, we have done these many chapters, this much is enough only. Why attend this class? Why leave this one, that one? So they keep doing this. Some people will also tell you about a strategy of doing the 10 most important chapters or 12 most important videos would you would find around it. Okay, don't fall for them. The level of difficulty of CSAT has gone up quite a bit, and that's why I say that you try to learn all topics. Okay, now of course some of your topics would be not that strong, some would be very strong. That's fine, but if you do only 10 topics and rely on them being very strong to help you clear CSAT, that is not a very reliable strategy. Okay, because they keep changing, it's very dynamic. Okay, so that's why please try to learn all topics so that you are able to do easy questions of any of the topics. That is what our strategy is, to do all kinds, learn everything. It is not much. Once you get hang of topics, you would be able to do easy questions within the first lecture of that class also. Okay, stick to that. For RCs, first we will have classes. In classes, I will mainly focus on okay. So I will focus on how you solve an RC. Okay, I will not focus on, because the traditional way of teaching RC is you will find a teen number of videos and lectures around it. These are the four options. What they do is they read this passage, then they explain it to you in your native language, say Hindi or Kannada, or otherwise they would explain this in much simpler English itself. Once you understand this passage, they say, so you understand the whole, and because when they are explaining you, they know the options also, and which one is right, that also they know. Okay, so they will explain you in that way that eventually he would say that, of course, you saw, I told you this is written, so that's why this is written here also, so that's why C is the answer. Okay, this gives a lot of happiness to students and teacher both, because teacher has already done it, okay, at their homes. Now they just have to explain a few sentences and tell that this is matching, this is match the column teaching. Okay, this is match the column, this is written here and this is written here, this matches, so this is correct. Okay, students enjoy it a lot. Why? Because now other thing what they do, when students have to attempt, they would read this whole passage, they would explain them and then say, now you tell what is the answer. While they emphasize at the correct places while they are reading it, also they will have explained the whole passage to the students already. So students get to the right answer and they like that teacher a lot. Okay. Now this won't be happening, unfortunately, in this class. Okay. What we will be focusing on, we want you to solve RCs. My job is not to explain RCs to you in class. Okay, like in your school there must be classes, no? In Hindi we used to have it, where there would be some line from a poem and you have to describe it. Okay, so that won't be happening in this class. What we will do is we will learn how we can reach answer to an RC, how we will solve an RC in the exam. That is something on which we'll focus. For this, I have myself framed many rules that I'll be telling you. You will note down those rules and we will apply it together. Eventually, I also take some classes of RC in which you will have to bring printouts, or we will give from here also. printouts we'll take of previous years of UPSC. So let's say we will pick 2017's RC. I'll remove all those pages that have maths or maths or reasoning questions. Only 2017 RC questions in English would be there. You'll sit in class. I'll give you 35 minutes and you attempt all the RCs in class itself. I want you to attempt maximum of it. Then what I'll be telling you, which of these RCs were difficult that you could have left. Okay, because identification of any question that I would be able to do this or I won't be is the most important part of CSAT. So I'll tell you which of these were somewhat difficult questions, which were moderate and which were easy. Because I've seen students falter in this also. They think that this RC was very easy, they attempt it, they get it wrong, they keep doing it without realizing which one was the easy ones, which they should have concentrated on, which were the difficult ones. So that we'll be doing with a few, like 1 or 2 sessions of this, in which we'll solve a previous year paper in class itself. Okay. Other than this, see in RCs, what I always tell is now almost 15 papers, no, not 15, 13, 14 papers of CSAT have been conducted till now. Okay, all of them has RCs. Some in the initial years, they used to have more RCs, like 30, 35 RCs. Okay, so you can approximately, you have, let's say 30 questions from all these papers. Okay, so you have more than 400 questions of UPSC PYQs only. Please, when you are solving RCs, first focus on these PYQs, especially like right now we don't have the answer key of 2025 RCs, but of let's say 2020 to 2024. These are the last 5 papers that you have the official answer key as well. Please download the official paper from UPSC website. Also download the official answer key from UPSC's website. Attempt those papers. Okay. First thing that should enter your brain about RCs should come from PYQs. Okay. Once you develop that knack of how UPSC chooses their answers, most of it we'll learn in class also. Then only start attempting mocks, so that you don't develop some bad habits that come out of mocks. Okay, first PYQs here and then also at home, and then eventually later when you give full mocks, then you solve those mock questions also. But initially focus on PYQs. Understood? I think that's it. That is all. Do's and don'ts that I told you in science and tech class holds here also. So that would be same. We will start with the chapters. If you see the syllabus of CSAT, it was framed in 2013 and a lot has changed. Okay, the syllabus would have something called decision making, a lot about data interpretation. All these questions are not coming in UPSC anymore. Data decision making stopped after 2 years. Data sufficiency after a case in 2018, they have data interpretation after a case in 2018, they are not giving anymore. One question came in 2022, otherwise not many questions are asked now. Okay, so syllabus, you can just rely on us. for you to cover almost what? I'll cover all topics. Okay. I'll cover all topics of all three parts. Because what they have done in syllabus, they have not defined the chapters. So syllabus just says arithmetic and numerical ability, logical reasoning ability, reading comprehension ability, decision making ability, data interpretation, like this they have written. So they have not listed the chapters. Chapters are listed by us only or done by us only while analyzing the papers from which chapters they are asking questions. Okay. Now, there any biasness towards the topic which you take, like maybe in that direction, if you read more, you might get more reading problem, or is it like far more esoteric? Okay. See, reading comprehension, when we take classes of it, I'll tell you all the prerequisites that are needed and what kind of RCs they ask. Just to answer it in brief, I have not seen such a pattern that they focus on this or that. One thing that you can say is most of their questions are along the line of GS. All the subjects that you read in GS, it mostly covers everything that is around, and the passages are also based on this also. Of course, some passages come beyond it also. Okay, I'll tell you about all about this when we take RC class, but most of it is around GS only. That's why I was telling you to please read newspapers in their original form as well as your textbooks, so that you develop habit of reading at least in these topics. You would see most RCs are along these topics only. So that will definitely help you. Otherwise also, if you are not even doing this, then there is no point of clearing CSAT also. So of course you will be doing GS. That much would be enough. Okay. Okay, we'll start with a very simple topic. Okay, blood relations. We are not starting with number system because it really scares a lot of students. Okay, we will get to it eventually. So we'll start with a few reasoning topics, then we'll take some easier mathematics topic. Once you develop a sense of understanding of it, you build a bit of confidence, then we'll take some difficult topics of mathematics. Okay, RCs, we will be doing somewhere in between. We'll take some lectures of RCs so that before the completion of course, you have a, a bit a big chunk of time in which you can attempt RCs on your own. Okay, so instead of taking it exactly at last, we'll take RCs somewhere in the middle. It will require some 3-4 lectures, 3-4 okay, one practice, 5 lectures it will require. Okay, and otherwise you can practice it at home. So, blood relations. Now, see, there are two kinds of questions that you see from this topic. See, first is, this is a typical question that you might have seen from your school days. Looking at a picture, Ram says that she is the mother of my father of my whatever grandmother's daughter. How is Ram related to the girl in the picture? Those kind of questions, these regularly appear in all kinds of exams. Okay. UPSC's focus is not on this. Okay. So first thing is you need not focus much on this. The focus of these kinds of question is sometimes on how many relations you know. They would ask integrate relations. Okay. That this is grandmother's this, that, what it is called. Then you remember all the relations, names in English and in your native language, all that. That is not required in UPSC. They are not asking you very complex relations. ठीक है, लाइक दीदी की भाभी का जीजा का बेटा, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. ठीक है, this all they won't ask. What they focus on is something in the puzzle form. Okay, so instead of complicating the relations, what they complicate is the family tree that you are making, and it would be in some kind of puzzles. Okay, so they will tell some things that this family has only 2 married couples, or they have 3 males, and then you have to guess what is A, what is the gender of A. Okay, it is not asking how is A related to B always, they will ask what is the gender of A. So you mark it like this in puzzle form, you have to solve. These kinds of question appear in UPSC. First is this. Then this is general. This is, let's say, A. Some basic relations you must know that I'll be telling you. Brother, okay. Here, let's say sister. Here, let's say father. Then son. Then grandfather. Then grandson. Okay. Okay, of course. Here is wife. Okay. Now let's marry all other characters as well. Sisters, with respect to A, sister's husband is called brother-in-law. Okay. Brother's wife is called sister-in-law. Father's wife is mother. This is grandmother. This is son. Son's wife, daughter-in-law. This is granddaughter in. Understood? This is how this much relation you should be knowing. Okay. Also, one word, that is sibling. This you know. Then one word is child. Child is gender neutral. Sibling is also gender neutral. If it says brother or sister, then they are defining the gender also. These are gender neutral terms. Similar is parent. Again, gender neutral. Okay, this much you would be knowing. Okay. Huh? They don't usually, but nephew, you just understand that here is father. Yeah. Father's brother. Father's, let's say father's brother is called uncle. Okay. Uncle's wife would be called aunt. Okay. And their children would be called nephews, niece, nephew, whatever. Okay. They don't usually go in niece, nephew, which one is niece, which one is nephew. They don't go in all that much detail. They mainly focus on this part. They mainly focus on this much. Okay. Also, if we have written this, then we should also write uncle and his sister would also be called aunt. Cousin? Yeah. Cousin. Cousin is also a gender neutral term. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. For it will come here, right? Sister. Yeah. Here you will get, right. That's fine. This is cousin. Cousin is also a gender neutral term. One thing that I wanted to tell you, there's nothing called cousin brother or cousin sister. This is just incorrect English. Okay. Because in India, we have integrate relations and we have named all of them. We are not satisfied with cousin. So we must say cousin brother, cousin sister. That does not, it is not correct English. It's just cousin, again, gender neutral term. Here you can get nieces and nephew. Here also, same thing. Just below them. That much is not needed. This much family tree is enough. Understood? Write it down, keep writing. Then we'll see the symbols that we'll be using in drawing that family tree. Done? करो. Okay. See, we will have some representation while we are drawing tree diagram. We cannot write all the time that A, right, B is father. Like this, we won't write. Instead, our tree diagram should be enough for us to understand all kinds of relations. Okay. Now, if you have developed something on your own, that's fine. I'll be telling you the one which I'll be using. Okay. So, first, A is a male. Okay. If A is a male, I'll write it in a box. Okay. Second, A is a female. I'll write inside a circle. Then, if I have to write A is son of B. A is son of B. Now understand, this is A. A is son. So A is a male. Son of B. Right? Because right now we don't know the gender of B. So when we don't know anybody's gender, we don't put it inside a box or a circle. Okay? We just leave it as it is. Now A is son of B. B may be his mother or father. Okay? Next. And you see, I have written B above A. This is showing difference in generation. So B is above, he is father or mother, below him is A, who is their son. Okay, next. Then A is brother of B. See, again, we know the gender of A. A is brother of B. So A in a box connected horizontally to B. Correct? We don't know the gender of B. Okay, wait. Like that. Okay. A is brother of B. Understood? A is brother of B. So this is, when we draw a horizontal line, this is for sibling, to show sibling relation. Yeah. Okay, then. Okay, wait. I'll write it next page. This much we have written. You can't see the bottom part all. Till here you can see. Huh? This part you are not able to see. Achha, that. Like this, and minimize like this, right? Now it's fine, right? Next is 5. A is husband of B. A is husband of B. And how we will show that? A, again, he is husband. So we know his gender of B. We will, because they are a couple, so we'll make couple of lines and connect it with B. Okay. We will always assume hetero couples. Okay. So if A is husband of B, that also means that B is a woman. Understood? Couple of lines because there are couple. Okay. Then A is a cousin of B. A is a cousin of B. How we will show it? See, A is a cousin of B. The genders of both the parties is not told. Okay. So how we draw a we drew sibling like this, A, B. So in cousins, because you won't be having that good relations with your cousins, at least some of your cousins. So we will make some friction in it. Okay. So this is A is sibling of B. Wait. Okay. Then seventh is in some questions we will also need to find married / unmarried. How we will show this is married is this and unmarried is this. Okay. That's it. Unknown letters, you already know that we don't put it under any, inside any square, inside any box or circle or anything like that. That is it. If you want, you can write this also. Unknown are written as simple letters like A, B, C, etc. Then one more thing, that if I tell you that A has two sons, B and C, so you won't draw like this. Okay, you won't draw like this. A, let's say a male only, father, has two sons, B and C. Please don't draw like this. Okay, instead what you do is you try to form a single line in the vertical. Okay, that eases your diagram. So if you want to write A has two sons, B and C, so you write like this, A connected to B. Now, if B and C both are sons of A, so you can write it like this. Okay, understood? So in vertical, we are not making it more complicated. We will have all complications along the horizontal only. This gets easier to deal with. Okay, and that is how we treat other relation also. Like if I were to draw, if I am given, let's say, is okay, if I want to draw C, who is aunt of A, I would draw like this, A father, then I would draw like this. Okay, so in vertical, always you'll try to maintain one line, then connect horizontally. Done. Let's get some questions. Is it visible now? See, we are doing this pointing kind of question so that you develop a knack of how you draw diagrams. After this, we'll be doing PYQs, which mainly consist of puzzles. This is just for you to get a hang of diagrams. Okay. See, I'll do this one first. Just observe. Pointing to a woman in a photograph, a man says, Okay. She is, so this is a photograph. Who is saying sorry, this is a photograph pointing to women in photograph. So photograph has a women, and who is saying? A man is saying. Okay. A man says, she is the only daughter of my father's mother-in-law. Okay. Now, she is the only daughter of my father. तो सबसे first thing that we get from this is our guy. Let's say his name is A. This is our guy. Now, pointing at that photograph, what he said, she is the only daughter of my father's mother-in-law. So first what we should do, we should draw his father. Let's say this is his father. Okay, we need not name everyone. Okay, this is his father. Father's mother-in-law. How it will look like? This is mother-in-law. Okay, so correct. This is A. A's father would be in a box, then connected by double lines because she's a couple. This is her. This is his mother and mother's mother. This is what? His father's mother-in-law. Understood? Mother's mother is this one's mother-in-law. Understood? This much? Got it? So, what is written? She is the only daughter of my father's mother-in-law. So, father's mother-in-law is this. Only daughter means this person only. And what relation he has with this? How is the woman related to the man? So, this and this. What is the relation? Understood? How we do this diagram, that is only important from this. Okay, this is a complex relation. First, what we understood is father, then we had to draw father's mother-in-law. So we won't connect it directly because understand the father was not connected to this woman in any way before he got married. So first, let him marry this woman, then only he gets connected to the mother-in-law. Correct? We will go like this only. Understood? Understood? You try one yourself. It's so difficult to do. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yeah. Try. Also, some people have habit of what they do. They use their real relations. Okay. Father's mother and that son. So that is Revant, and then Revant's sister. So that is Swati. Don't do all of this. Okay. Keep your relations to yourself because we'll be using diagrams. So just draw the diagram and get to the answer. Done? Done, everyone? Okay. Pointing to a photograph, a woman says, he is the only son of the wife of my husband's father. Okay. Pointing to a photograph, who is saying? A woman is saying. A woman is saying. Let's say it. Now, he is the only son of the wife of my husband's father. You focus on this first. My. Okay. It becomes easier to analyze. He is that this. Don't worry about it. First, you understand the relation because we have drawn the women. Now you focus on my husband's father. So what you do? My husband. So you draw her husband and husband's father. Correct? Now you see the remaining sentence. He is the only son of the wife of my husband's father. So draw wife also of his husband's father. And what it is saying? That he is the only son of the wife of my husband's father. So it is talking about this person only. Only son of this woman. Who it will be? Her husband. So this relation is what? Of a husband. Understood? How you have to do? Don't first what you need to do? You need to make who is pointing at a photograph, who is saying all this. So you draw them first. After that, what you do? You find wherever my or direct relation is written with this person who is talking. So my husband's father. So you draw that first. Then you read the other sentence and you will find the relation easily. Okay? Understood? Anybody any issue? Is this visible? Now it's fine. Try everyone. Just try it. It is too complicated. A relation. Okay. This won't be asked. This is just for your practice.
Father-in-law, sir.
Yeah. Correct. Okay. Shall we do it? See, pointing to a man in a photograph. A woman says, who says? Women. First, what we'll do? We will make a woman. Okay. Then he is the father of my own. Now, what we focus on? My. Because we have to draw relation with this women first. My only daughter in law's father in law. Okay. So, first, my only daughter in law. So, let's draw her daughter in law. How it will look like? First, son, then this is daughter in law. And who is my only daughter-in-law's father-in-law? So daughter-in-law's father-in-law would be what? Her husband only. Daughter-in-law's father-in-law, if you would have to draw husband, husband's father you would draw. So this is him. Correct? Now, that person, now read the first part. He is the father of my only daughter-in-law's father-in-law. So he is father of this person also. So this is that particular man. This is man in the photograph. Understood? He is the father of my only daughter-in-law's father-in-law. Only daughter-in-law's father-in-law and his father. How is A related to that man? A is related to that man. This father-in-law. Correct? Father-in-law connected. Connected via husband. That means we will add father-in-law. Okay. If directly connected, that is father. Yeah. Why? Yeah. Yeah.
So you say that A is the woman who is seeing the photo.
Yeah. Yeah.
She has a daughter-in-law,
Yeah.
and that daughter-in-law, she says that he is the father of my only daughter-in-law. So
No. He says he is the father of my only daughter-in-law's father-in-law. So first daughter-in-law, daughter-in-law's father-in-law, and father-in-law's father. It's not very relevant, but you get the point. So these kind of questions are asked in other exams. We won't be doing any similar questions. Okay. You understood this? Try this. This is easier. Don't worry much about that question. It's fine. This that you see right now, these kind of relations you will have to draw. Okay. Do. Done? Okay, okay, okay. See, quiet. Listen. See, what I wanted to tell you first, you see all these questions, okay? These pointing to a photograph, pointing to a photograph, and